Make a baby.
Let's make a baby tonight.
Nice. Little
Okay.
ASMR. Hello and welcome to Staying Up with Cami and Taryn. I'm Cami.
And I'm Taryn. And every week, except for last week because we were on vacation. Well, no.
Every night we have a sleepover, but once a week we invite you to join us. But you may have noticed last week we were not here because, as my beautiful wife just said, tried to say, we were on vacation. However, if you're a Patreon member, you didn't miss a week of us.
No, you didn't.
You were there. We did a little bonus epi over on Patreon, which is always a fun and silly, goofy time. People weighed in on Taryn being a beach rat, me cleaning off the lens. It was really just like a cleaning debate. The lens cleaning and your hair cleaning.
I will say I won that debate. Did you know that?
Have you looked at it recently?
Why would there be like such a massive turn of recent?
There was a turn. The first couple were team beach rat. Okay, we're going to fill you guys in real quick. We were in Cancun.
Yeah.
Taryn loves the way her hair looks when she comes out of the ocean.
We all do. Let me be clear.
It looks great. It looks great. The first couple days, it looks gorgeous. The ringlets are very defined. Your curls really thrive.
If you're watching on video right now, this is my hair. I showered last night, and this is what it looks like.
Like less defined curls.
It's like just
But baby, the ocean water is like if you would use like a product and not just like get out of the shower, but like do it.
But okay, what's confusing, babe, is that it also happens in a pool. It's something to do.
I think it's because
with
your
weird
hair.
Water.
Well, when I watch, I don't think it's the weird water. I think I've watched, maybe it's salt water in that other bowl. But anyways, I watch a lot of curly hair tutorials and
Supportive wife.
Very supportive. And everyone says like leave your hair sopping wet. And then you like put in the product because then it like absorbs it better. So I think it might have to do with you like you're not throwing your hair up in a towel when you get out of the pool. You're letting it just like be soaked and then dry.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that could have something to do with it. But anyways, back to our
debate of the year.
Tara and I were laying in bed one morning and I like reached up to grab her hair and like give it a little rub and it was
crunchy.
Filthy.
Crunchy.
It was filthy. And I was like, have you washed your hair since we've been here? And she was like, nope. And I'm not going to.
We were like 5 days in.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to wash my hair. And I was like,
I did get wet.
I think like even if you just go wash it and then jump right back in the ocean, you can still get that appeal. But at this point, the ocean can't even do what you want it to do because it's like can't penetrate the dirt.
No, it was doing it still. It really was.
It needed a wash.
I understand you standing by your belief that like hair should be washed.
No, I just think your hair would have looked better. I think it would have performed better if it was like clean hair and then in the ocean too. It was like weighing it down.
Look, all I know is that when I saw the chatter, we put this out to the tops on Patreon and asked what they thought. And everybody was team beach rat, let Taryn not wash her hair for a week. Which I still very firmly believe that is the correct answer.
I think the correct answer is if your wife wants the hygiene up a little, that wins.
Not on a beach vacation is my belief.
Teach their own.
Like, I get it if we're at home and you're like, babe, you're being a stinky beach rat and we don't live at the beach. That you work it out.
But don't you want to be clean?
That I feel clean.
But it's not.
But I feel clean. I wash my body every day, multiple times a day. It wasn't like I was dirty. My hair was dirty.
I know, but that's part of you. It's an extension of you. It's on your body.
Wait, that's a beautiful way that you said this. That is part of me. This is part of me.
Yeah.
Me being a beach rat on vacation is part of me.
Listen, honey, do what you want. But once you get married, I feel like you do have to take into consideration your wife's hygiene requests.
I'm always taking into consideration.
And I wasn't saying don't let the beach do its thing. I just said like wash and then let's jump in the beach. It's not better the more days you allow it to happen.
I'm saying if maybe 1 to 2 weeks a year, I want to feel like a little stinky beach rat on my head, I feel like I should be able to do that.
Okay.
That's all.
You do what you want, baby.
Is that upsetting to you?
It's just like, just wash the hair. It's not that hard.
It's just like, don't worry about it.
But I want to touch you.
You can touch every other part of me but my head.
It grosses me out.
Well, that's fine. Then we don't touch that week.
If you're okay with that, then okay.
Yes, I am okay with that.
That's sad. I don't like that.
I am okay. Okay, you said for the first 4 days, it's fine. If day 5, 6, 7, you don't want to touch me, but it is very freeing for me as a person.
But couldn't we compromise that you wash 1 day on that trip? 1 day.
We could.
And then jump right back into the ocean. Isn't that like, where's the compromise here?
Okay. Then
I'm
you
not
would
asking
have to
you
bring
to-
my shampoo and conditioner next trip.
Deal. Easy.
Great. I just don't want to pack all that.
Happily.
Okay, great.
I will pack it. I can definitely do that.
If we are on a more than 7-day trip, like we were this trip, I will, and you pack my shampoo and conditioner, I will wash my hair on day 6.
5 and you got yourself a deal.
Okay, I'll do that. That's fine.
You guys saw it here first.
Yeah, I'm not upset by that.
Okay, I love where this landed.
Yeah, because I'm going to wash it and go right into the ocean again. So it's going to be exactly
I've been saying.
No, but it's just going to be as crunchy.
No, it's not. It's not. Because the first day you did it, I thought it felt nice. It looked nice. It felt dirty. When I reached out, I was like, whoa.
Babe, I understand. I just want also to feel like I'm not like a gross person. I would like just one time to do something that's like, I'm a little beach rat.
Yeah, and I think 5 days is enough to allow you to be a beach rat.
I don't wash my hair 5 days at home.
I know, but you're not like getting
people tell me.
dirty at home.
My people, I sounded like Trump.
My people tell me.
Anyway, we had a great time aside from that whole debacle, which I didn't even think was anything. But now I'm feeling like it was massive to you.
I just didn't like it.
Okay, jeez. God. It's not that serious.
But if it's not that serious, then why not just wash your hair?
If it's not that serious, then why are you caring so much about my hair on my head?
But I'm saying it is serious to me.
But it's my body, my choice.
Okay. Then do what you want. But I just think you don't want to gross your wife out.
I just think
I think that's
I can gross my wife out once a year. That's okay to me.
Okay.
I feel fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we came to a nice compromise, but now I feel like we're backpedaling. I thought we reached a good place.
I want to know what people think.
We're moving on.
Don't you think it's okay if I could just be a little beach
But
rat
also, why does it matter
once a year?
I think that's the thing that bothers me, that it's like, well, people agree. It's like, but people are not in our marriage. They're not getting grossed out touching your hair.
I believe what I believe regardless of what they say. Clearly, if you said that people have already
I think
responded.
if your guy friends went, no, Taryn, like, that is gross, my wife would not like that. You'd go, okay, you're right.
My wife would not like that?
Well, that happened before about pooping in the bathroom when I'm in there, where I kept saying, stop pooping when I'm in here. I don't like it.
And I've worked on that.
But then you didn't take it seriously until your guy friends went, that's weird. Stop doing that. And then you're like, oh, people think it's weird. I think that's my problem, where it's like, we don't need people to agree.
I understand
that. Every couple is different. There's things that people aren't going to have boundaries of, or people are.
Yeah.
And I think you got to come to an agreement. Like, some people won't even pee in front of their spouse. Some person won't even sit on the toilet. They're like, you must leave. You can't even know that I pee, poop, burp,
look,
whatever.
Everything you're saying, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you loud and clear. I'm with you. I love you. A daily gross habit, such as pooping in the room.
You're saying this is like, once a year.
Like, that is gross and I should work on that. And I have.
Yeah, this you're like.
Once a year, me feeling myself a little bit because I like to not wash my hair. Trip.
Am I allowed to joke about it and make a comment about it? And be like
what? Try
just
me.
Like,
try me.
You didn't wash your hair, did you? And you're like, nope.
What?
And you don't care.
That
like I can
truth
like
on truth.
I can pick on you about it a little bit too.
Yeah, like ideally you're not like, look at this fucking stinky bitch. Like that would hurt. But if you're doing what you just said, absolutely, that's the truth. I didn't wash my hair on vacation. Big whoop.
Okay.
Yeah. Also,
okay, I'll give you your week. I'll give you your week. I take back our compromise. You can do what you want.
Why?
Because I get it. If it's once a week, if
it's not once a week.
If
it's
you'll
once
take
a year.
the at-home habits, more seriously,
absolutely.
I'll give you the week.
Absolutely. You're painting me out to be a very like little messy, nasty rat.
How?
I don't know. It feels like that.
I'm just speaking truth. I said you didn't wash your hair at the beach and you poop in front of me. Those are just truths. If you feel that that's dirty, then
you're
you
agree.
agree.
If I work on that, my day-to-day habits here.
Yes.
I feel like I'm not doing a lot that grosses you out. Or you don't tell me, at least.
I tell you when things gross me out.
Besides the poop situation.
Yes, I do.
What else? Try me one more.
I don't think you want me to air out your dirty laundry.
Cover your face and mouth it to me.
Let's talk about it privately.
I want to know. Oh, that's fine.
Like,
she said when I pick my nose. I pick my nose sometimes. Big whoop. It's not every day that I'm in
what
there.
you guys miss is I put my hand over my face from the camera and I like picked my nose to shore. I was like, the nose picking.
That to me, I understand that is a gross habit. I do. But also I'm like,
how did we get
everyone's
here? We're
doing
supposed to
that.
be talking about our sperm donor.
Everybody's picking their nose.
It's the
Except for you.
It's the frequency.
Whatever, bro.
And like the outwardness of it.
What do you mean
It's
outwardness?
the confidence.
Yeah, well.
Which at least you're confident.
Have you
in,
seen
honestly.
Anthony pick his nose?
No.
That will you will be so grateful for me.
Anthony's not my spouse.
I know, but I'm saying mine amount of nose.
No, there's
picking,
no
I
way
think,
he's
is
ever
normal.
picking his nose in front of Lexi. She would never allow that.
Oh, honey.
No.
He is on a call picking his nose. Which is disgusting.
Literally disgusting.
Can I have some?
Sure.
You didn't give me a spindrift earlier. I felt sad.
Sorry, baby.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Despite what you may believe, based on the conversations we've had, we did choose our sperm donor.
I love you.
I love you too.
Oh.
We're just having fun. We're gabbing.
We're just girls being girls.
We're girls being girls talking about girly shit like dirty beach rats.
What's the grossest thing I do? And then we can end it. I want to allow you to have the floor. It's not just you.
The grossest thing that you do.
Yeah, what do I do that you're like, she could do that less? Not like an ick, like a actually like dirty or gross or.
I can't think of anything right now.
Yeah, that's a trick question. There's nothing.
No, I'm like thinking about like your toes. Sometimes I feel like you touch your toes. Like
touch my toes.
Yeah, like there's like little, like if you have like little dirt under your nails, sometimes you fish it out yourself instead of using a tool.
I'll see like that there's dirt and that drives me crazy. So I'll just be like,
yeah, like it's like you're picking your toenails.
I will do that. That is disgusting. You're right.
Yeah, that's probably mine.
That's fair. That is gross.
But it comes with the territory.
No, I'm gonna stop doing that.
You can, but also
because I just like if I have like any dirt under my nails, I freak out. Like it grosses me out.
I know. I get that.
But then I'm not taking into consideration, sure, the dirt's off me, but you just literally had to watch me pick at my toe.
And it's also a lot less gross to me when it is not gross to me when you use a little tool to get it under.
Oh, yeah, when you're like cleaning.
When I
use my nail
to get dirt out of your toenails, I'm like, that's a little icky to me.
It's disgusting.
It's okay.
No, you're right.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
That's our new thing we're doing, guys. You should take it. It's very fun.
It is so fun.
When something is stressful or not okay.
Yeah.
You
say, it's okay.
It's okay.
When things are absolutely not okay, like when you're about to cry or you're so overwhelmed or something, you get really bad news. It's okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. And then if like you're upset or whatever and it has nothing to do with me, I'll be like, you're okay.
Yeah. It's
okay.
You immediately are taking a thing that is like impending doom is here.
Yeah.
And you for a second instead just go, it's okay.
And then we just laugh and then it kind of is okay.
It's more okay than it was before.
For sure. I really like it.
Anywho.
Oh my God. We have been talking about being gross for 15 minutes. Sorry, guys.
Gross.
That was not the point of this episode. So for sake of this episode, we are going to jump right on into it.
Yep.
Really, really big news we shared on the Discord last night while we were out celebrating. We have officially chosen our sperm donor. Ow.
Oh
my God. Sorry. Taryn just scissored me with her fingers.
With my fingers and her fingers together. No other body parts were scissoring. I just thought it would be funny, but then
she went in
shoved.
so hot. I feel like the web of my fingers ripped.
Okay. Well, yes. I'm sorry that happened. We chose our sperm donor and we're so excited. The last couple days have been so...
It's been so surreal.
Yeah, so exciting.
But also
and
so
calm.
like calming.
Yeah.
I didn't know, we both didn't really know how we would feel once we picked. I had kept saying, and I was trying to convince myself for a while that when we make our decision, I'm not going to think about it again. Whatever we decided is the right decision, and I'm going to move on to the next step. And I think I was telling myself that because I was scared that I would have a regret or something.
Yeah.
And I feel really, really, good.
Me too. So today's episode, we feel like you've been staying up with us throughout this whole process across many episodes. Like we've talked about bits and pieces of this process all over this podcast and on Instagram and whatever. And we just thought today will be the day that we like give a clear, comprehensive look into what this process has been for us and how we landed on a sperm donor.
Beginning to end.
Yeah.
We got some questions from the Discord for details that they want to know. But yeah, we just wanted to give you guys like a full look at how we got here.
Yep.
You want to kick?
Go ahead. Kick us off.
So as we mentioned in another episode, we decided to work with Seed Scout.
Oh, let's take it one step back.
Yeah.
We can't naturally have a baby, the two of us.
Oh, yes.
And no matter how hard we try,
it's just not working.
it hasn't worked.
So
it won't work. We're missing something.
We keep baking a cake and we're missing the flour.
Turns out sperm matters.
And like who
Ew.
knew?
However, it does. You know what? It's beautiful. Someday our child will have sperm.
Jesus Christ, we're losing the
I meant
plot.
to just be like, you know, it's not an ick on sperm. It's just we would like to be able to make a baby ourselves.
Yeah.
And we don't get to.
We did have to mourn that moment of like, we are not a couple who can just like produce a child out of our love.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see like the positive sides of that and the joy in that. And we're trying to like lean in because it is what it is. It's how currently science works.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So typically whenever you're looking for a sperm donor, which was step one in this process once we decided we wanted to have kids, you typically either go to a sperm bank or you use a known donor.
Yep.
If you go with a sperm bank, you are going to look through pictures, either just of baby photos, or a lot of sites allow you to pay more to see adult photos. You get a little blurb on them. You get a health rundown. All of the banks are a little bit different, but it's kind of like online shopping. You make your criteria.
It's very online shoppy vibes. You can sort by all the different things you want. And for us, our criteria has always been obviously health first. If there's like glaring health issues, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And then what's important for us was, do they look like both of us enough to where when we have this child, it looks like it would just be our kid and that no one else was involved.
We don't want to have someone look at our kid and be like wondering what the donor looks like. Of like, oh, little Bobby has red hair.
Right.
Where'd that come from?
So for us, it's like someone with in between tan and kind of fair-ish skin.
Yeah.
Someone with light eyes, so not brown eyes. And
we were a little bit more lenient on that
hair.
once and we'll touch on this when we get a little further. One of our top options that we love I was gonna say love, but it's not like he's gone. We love him. He's great. But he was like very freckly and way more fair than I thought we were initially open to.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
But yeah, so it was like those were the things that we're looking for, and brown hair was ours. And so it's like you kind of have
light eyes.
Yeah, you have that base, and then you go onto these sperm bank websites and you sort by those things, and there's not many great options for us. We felt like
we instantly started to get spooked. And like discouraged.
Yeah.
We were already, I think, mourning the idea of like, we are not producing a baby just us two. We do have to involve another person to some degree.
Yeah.
So then to see what our options were was really feeling sad.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, do we just not focus on our criteria of them looking like us? Do we just pick the best, healthiest candidate? Like whatever, all this other stuff. And then like, maybe they're just totally different from us.
Right.
Okay, that might be an option. It felt like we had to compromise
totally
so much if we were going to use a sperm bank.
So there's a sperm bank option, and there are so many good things about sperm banks and so many tough things about sperm banks, but we just felt funky about it, personally.
Yeah.
It's also way cheaper, which would have been nice, but that's not the way we went.
Yeah.
Then there's the option of a known donor, so someone in our lives that we know.
Yeah, some people like we will be using both of our eggs, so a sibling's out of the question. But I know some people will use their brother, because then like if we were using just your egg and then my brother and I share the same DNA, like we have the same mom and dad, that is the closest we could get to genetically it being the same.
Totally.
That is an option that has always grossed me out, and I feel like I've talked about this with other exes in the past, and I feel like and friends and anyone who has a brother would be like, that's gross, I would never. And then people who don't have a brother are like, wait, that's so cute and so great. So I know a lot of people do it.
Gross. I'm gonna push you on.
It grosses me out.
That's fair. I'm just
especially
saying,
knowing I'm
gross,
but I'm carrying it.
Yeah, that's
because
fair.
even though the embryo's in me, I'm like, my brother's sperm.
Yeah, that
someone's cooked.
That could feel not good.
It bothered me.
Yeah,
but then I'm like, but it's so sweet because then that baby could literally have looked just like me.
Yeah, and it's like actually, biologically related to you, which is great.
It's totally a me issue. I'm not saying y'all are gross, the people who have done that, because I know a lot of people who have. You're not gross, but I couldn't do it. Did not sit with me.
It didn't feel good to you, and that's fair. And then it's like, do we choose a friend then? And it was like we started going down the path of like people in our life that kind of look like us and would be open to doing that. And we kind of quickly were like, that certainly doesn't feel like the best option, because I don't want to be at a barbecue.
I wouldn't say it was quickly. I think that happened. I think we were going down that route for a long time.
Well, it got further from a friend. It was like, now we want an acquaintance or like a friend of a friend.
Yeah. That one felt really sticky, setting boundaries and emotionally. It felt the nicest to be like, I can ask you any question. I know your health history. I know your family. I know you're a good person. Like instead of we're a sperm bank, not a lot about somebody.
Yeah.
You don't get to meet them. This was all of what sperm banks didn't have, known donors had.
Yeah.
But none of the boundary.
Totally. So there's like the known donor felt too close. Mm-hmm. The sperm bank felt too far.
Yeah. Oh, also about the known donor, I had a thought after we had already decided not to go that route. Mm-hmm. It's such a morbid, negative thought. So I'm sorry ahead of time. But God forbid, so let's say we go with one of your guy friends.
And he dies?
No. Oh. And then, God forbid, we get a divorce. Oh. We have kids and we get a divorce. And then I'm like dropping our kids off at your house, and I know that your friend, who I'm probably not seeing anymore if you and I aren't together, who was our donor, is hanging out. There's like this little family unit. And then like, what if our kids are enjoying that more? Being like, that's my biological mom and my biological dad, and we're all like, I was like, that could get really sticky, and there's no way to plan or know. Like, it just really, like, I had a few morbid thoughts about it. And was like, whoa, that could be really
You're
hard.
thinking about us getting divorced?
Obviously not. That's why I prefaced it. But those are things, like, you do have to think about every level of like, how will this impact our kid? And that was really scary, that it's like, it's your friend, like. And then, like, what if you guys agree on a boundary? Because right now we talked about, like, what if we use a known donor and that friend has an opinion on how we're raising our kid? Mm-hmm. Then we would be a united front and we would set that boundary with them. But what if you and I aren't on good terms?
Right.
In an alternate universe, and then you agree with the donor, and then you're sharing, like, I can't stop you from creating boundaries. It just felt like that could be, for a plethora of reasons, really sticky.
Yes. So that was like, okay, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Frank is dreaming or having a nightmare, and
he's
just
twitching.
The other piece about a sperm bank that we didn't bring up is that you only get their health information at the time of the donation.
It's
really,
a quick snapshot.
It's a snapshot of what they're like
and what they're willing to share.
What they're willing to share, what their family is like too. And so you don't get to know if a year later he was diagnosed with cancer or something
like very hereditary,
that like you wouldn't have that information.
Yeah.
So all to say, we wanted a different version, which was what brought us to Seed Scout.
Yeah, and it was so crazy. I didn't even know that this was an option when we got started, and I'm so thankful that it is. I was joking earlier today that it's like the Three Little Bears, where it was like, this one's doesn't have enough boundaries. This one, we don't know enough information. And Seed Scout feels like all of the good of a bank and all of the good of a known donor, minus a lot of the bad. It's like, for us, became the perfect in-between. The balance of, we get to know this person. We get to have contact with them if we want to.
Do you want to say what Seed Scout is, or did you?
Oh yeah, I just felt like we had talked about them enough. But
just very quickly, they're like a known donor matchmaking service. So it's a couple. These two women started it because they needed it. They were trying to find a sperm donor for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They collected like this roster of healthy, nice, good-looking
Mm-hmm.
guys that like want to give sperm for the right reasons and that don't want to just like go give it, spread their seed, basically. And so they interviewed all these guys and then made this big backlog of dudes, and then now are the gatekeeper basically of those guys.
Yeah.
And they help you matchmake, or they basically act as matchmakers so that you can find what you're looking for on whatever your criteria or whatever you prioritize or whatever. And then they also help you through the process and like have just been an amazing resource.
They've been through it themselves, and then obviously they're gaining experience helping other couples. It's really that like, oh, I wish I just had a friend of a friend of a friend who could be a donor. They have created that for you. They're vetting them. A lot of them are getting recommended from people they know, or it's really helpful. So the whole process with them has been really refreshing to me.
Yeah.
And just like calming. We, like Taryn said, sent over our criteria. Then they sent us a big doc of like a slideshow of people. And 90% of them were to a T what we had requested. And then they said, we send a few who maybe have the wrong eye color.
Right.
Maybe aren't the height you asked. Like maybe have a health history thing. Like little things that would be a compromise, but to be like, one, I think it was helpful to compare the other people too, to be like, oh my God, well, this person's perfect. And even though this person's amazing, they are missing this one thing. Like it was still nice to see the comparison.
Yeah.
And we narrow it down to our top, I think like 5. And we did pick some people that surprised me that weren't like who would have fit our general description.
Yeah.
But then we ended up really liking. So sometimes you don't know till you know. And then we narrowed it down to our top 2. Normally they were explaining like most couples pick their top 1 once they get the additional info on them. But we were really stuck between 2 people. We valued them for, they were really different. And I think that's what made it hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So our top 2 choices were like, what's the best way to describe Frank?
Who they are?
Yeah. I'm just watching Frank, like his eyes are twitching like crazy.
I don't think we need to go for their privacy. I don't think we need to go into too much about who they are. They're both incredibly handsome, sweet, funny. They were really both great.
Yeah.
And like I said, great for different reasons, which is why it made it a little bit more difficult. Like one was opening up a lot. One was very sweet. It was like anytime we kind of felt pulled one way or the other, the next day it would flip-flop.
Yeah.
So I think we got to a point where we were like, we're going to let health decide.
Yes. And it's like we already, I've seen people in the comments when we've previously talked about it, been like, health should just be the number one thing. Health is the number one thing. But during this, you're getting these tests done that take months to get the results back.
You have to do a genetic carrier screening. So just a basic rundown for you guys who don't know. We all have genetic thing. Well, one of our candidates has nothing. It's like
insane.
Perfection. We all have recessive genes that we carry that are not affecting us. You're a carrier. You're not exhibiting any symptoms of it. You're okay because one of your parents was probably a carrier. But if Taryn's a carrier of one thing and then our donor's this carrier of that as well, the chances of the child having it in a lot of cases are high. It's like 25%.
Yeah.
So 1 in 4 of our embryos could have it. And you could move forward doing it. Like if we were a couple, and I think your brother said him and his wife took this. So you could work around it where you could then go through IVF with your spouse if you were carriers, and then they can test the embryos. But when we're already paying so much and this process is so lengthy, the risk of 1 in 4 of our embryos not being able to be used is too high. So most IVF couples, when you're using a donor, you just don't even move forward with somebody who has the same carrier as one of you.
Yeah. So I also don't think we said this, but like when we picked our 2 guys, we got way more health information about them. got to see pictures of their families.
That was a big question. People are like, what kind of pictures do you get to see?
Yeah, so you get a lot, at least with Seed Scout. This is not the case on a lot of other options, but with Seed Scout,
I haven't seen this anywhere else.
You get 7 pictures or something of them to start with, and then once you narrow down and like choose your top guys, you get like a bigger file basically.
You got siblings,
you
got
see
nieces
pictures of
and
their
nephews.
siblings, their parents, and siblings, like, obviously is really important because a family, you can be the anomaly or you can look exactly like all your siblings and kind of see which genes are like dominant, I guess.
Yeah.
And you see all that, and then you get like way more health information about their nieces and nephews and brothers and like what they
it's so
all
extensive.
have, which is great. But why was I bringing that up? I think I was just gonna say.
Then we got to Zoom with both of them.
Oh yes, we got to Zoom with both of them.
Yeah,
they had completely different temperaments in both great ways. Like one of them was like very silly, quirky, goofy fella. And the other is like kindest, calm, like just totally 2 different energies.
Yeah.
And so,
valuable energies that it was like, shoot, I like both of these vibes so much. Who is the right, like, what should I be valuing for this specific instance? Because it's like a person could be the best person in the world, but not right to be your donor.
Totally.
But it's hard to look past like, oh, but I love all these things about you.
Yeah. And so all that to say is like, obviously the health is the number one most important thing, but there's a lot of downtime when you are waiting for health results that you're like, let's say they both come back and all of their tests are clear, match up fine with ours. Then what do we go off of?
Yeah.
And that was like the big thing for us. And the biggest question that we got from you guys about how we chose, is like, what was the guiding factor?
How did you finally go? Well, I want to back up because people also ask, like, did we just base it off of what we felt? Like, I want to talk about people's inputs a little bit as well.
Oh yeah, we didn't even say that.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So it's really tricky, and I think you have to cater this process to you, and that's why we really wanted to be transparent, because I would see other couples share their experience and know that some of their choices wouldn't be right for me or wouldn't be right for you in our experience. So I think it's so helpful to have people be transparent about this so you can kind of pick and choose. Like, you might hear this process and be like, oh my God, that sounds terrible to me. And that's okay. I'm not offended by that whatsoever. I want everyone to do what's right for them.
Yeah.
But it's hard to hear all these options. And it changed throughout, I think. So at first, once we saw the photos and everything, and Taryn and I talked about it and we narrowed it down. After we got that list, it was like 20 guys at first. We talked about, like, are we going to share this with people? Are we going to share the options? Are we going to tell people, like, how do we want to move forward with this? And I really struggled with it personally, because it wasn't that I didn't want to hear other people's inputs necessarily. I was nervous that if they were so against my instinct, it was going to overwhelm me. Almost like some people don't want to tell people their baby names because they're like, I don't want you to tell me that it sucks. But more than that, I didn't want people to, like, think about the donor too much. The donor relationship is about us and feeling comfortable, and our future kid feeling comfortable. Like, I don't want our friends and family to be thinking about the donor. Like, we are making a baby. Yeah. Yes, we need a donor to help us get there, but, like, you're not thinking about our doctor when you think about our baby, and we need their help too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I was feeling a little uneasy about it at first.
I was like, well, I agree with all of those things. Like, I felt the same type of unease, but my way of handling unease is
getting
with
advice.
The people that I, like, trust the most in the world. And like, that's not everybody in the world, but that's like
a handful.
My parents, your parents, our siblings, and our best friends. And
your instinct is to get input from friends and family and, like, help, and my input is to be, like, a recluse and figure it out on my own.
Right. And I think it's not even that anyone's opinion is going to like sway things for me. I just want to hear it. It's like feedback is a data point. I'm like, I just want to know so that I have more to think about. I want to know what other people are thinking about.
And sometimes I was just talking to my dad on the phone before we recorded, and I was explaining to him how we picked.
Yeah.
And sometimes just hearing somebody parrot back what you're feeling, even if you haven't realized what you're feeling, is so helpful.
Yeah, it's the best feeling.
Yeah.
So we basically like put together a little slideshow. We showed, you showed like your family, I showed your parents, I showed my parents.
Yeah.
And before we started, we were like, do not give this sort of reaction.
Yeah, we don't want
put
strong guidelines into this.
We were like, don't say that's definitely the guy, or he's ugly, or he's so hot, or why would you pick someone like this, or nothing. It was like, we picked these two people out of all the people on the planet, so we clearly like them both a lot.
Yeah. And we might end up with either, so don't knock one, because like even health could just eliminate our top person for all we know. And
so we were like, here's their temperaments, here's what they look like, here's their health concerns, things that are treatable, not treatable, genetic, not genetic, whatever. Who feels to you, who would be a better fit for us, and also who looks the most like us was like the thing that we wanted most from talking to everyone that we asked.
Yeah. And it was really interesting. I think a lot of people were just as split as we were. Like people would clearly be leaning one way or the other, and then the next person we asked is completely the other. One would say, oh, I think that one looks like they could be your brother, because we were like, this might sound weird, but like, who could you see us walking and be like, oh, that could be Taryn's sibling, or that could be Cam's sibling, and it would flip-flop, like,
which was just reassuring. It was like, well, we picked two great people then.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't even look alike.
Not
which
at
is
all.
So insane.
I
like,
know.
They look very different, actually.
Yeah. That is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on that? About how we like got input and stuff?
No, I think that's good. You and I just had 1,000,001 conversations.
Oh yeah, we talked about it all the time.
And talked about scenarios of like, okay, we had to make a lot of assumptions. How do we think this person would handle this situation, and what are we worried about this? And we talked to our doctors. We talked to our fertility doctor, and we talked to our what's just your like general practitioner.
General family practitioner.
Yeah, family practitioner. We talked to both of them and got inputs and like asked about any health concerns we had, and we wanted to obviously put health first, but everyone has a health thing.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to be like, oh, we're just going to rule out somebody because there's even like some probability, because like everyone has a probability, even if it's not showing up on their chart, even if we don't know this. Like we want to, obviously the genetic things and the hereditary things, you want to carry more weight. Like there has been so much advancements in medicine that having one specific thing might not be a big deal. So if you know about it. So we wanted to get health professionals' opinions.
Yeah. So we were waiting. Basically, it came down to this. We were waiting on genetic tests. We got both of the genetic tests back. We were hoping that would make a decision for us, but both of them didn't have any genes or anything.
Yeah, we're like, let's
collided.
leave this up to the universe.
Yeah. So
we are going to match. We have to. There's no way that they are both going to be perfect matches.
I had 5 things. Cam had 1 thing. And then...
Yeah, we're like, one of these guys is going to have one of the 6 things.
One guy had 0 things and the other guy had 2 things, but they didn't match.
So we're like, okay.
We're like, okay, great.
We have to make this decision ourselves.
So then it came down to, we were waiting to get on a call with our fertility doctor because one of them had like a more complicated health history that could interact with my family's health history. And we didn't know if that was treatable, if that was hereditary, like getting tests for some health conditions are not, it's like, is it lifestyle or is it hereditary?
Yeah.
So we didn't know that. And then we just kept bouncing back and forth between 2 things. One of the guys we felt we had more like in common with, just
like a personal connection. We talked
to him more.
Like if you look at our group chat, there's 1,000 texts, and not even talking about this process. Like we are just like hanging out.
We felt a little bit more like mute, like we would be in each other's spaces in the normal world. Like we were surprised we didn't have more overlap of friends. We
broke that kind of like border around each other where it's like, oh, this is just for the donor, and we like crossed over into friends immediately.
Right. So we had that with this donor who also was the more complicated health stuff with me. And that is great, but the health was maybe a con. And then the other con is like we started to just feel our boundaries lower a little bit. Would you say?
Yeah. I think I just got in my head of like, am I gonna feel as comfortable creating a boundary if they're ever like, I liked that this option was very vocal and honest and open with us.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, this could also open up to difference of opinions.
Right.
And then having to create those boundaries of like, no, we have to do this or whatever. So I was like,
Yeah. So then the second option is we felt less like our personal lives had blurred by the time we made the decision. But from what we knew of him, insanely perfect health. Like nothing really to even.
We're like, how is this real?
This is insane.
Which that alone, we were like, we have to go this route, right? Like that the health alone, I was like, it's something could always happen.
Yeah.
But in my head, if we had a kid and something happened of the things that we were slightly worried about, I'd kick myself. I'd be like,
totally.
Come on, that was so silly. I could have prevented this. Right. Where now, if the exact same thing, health thing still happens, I can go, that's comical. But we did everything we could have done.
We did what we could.
Yeah.
So felt maybe a little bit less like we had connected with him at this point, but health was
which I you could see as a pro or a con.
Right.
I almost saw it as a pro.
Yeah.
That it felt very, not serious, but it felt like there were clear lines. It felt like the focus was on this. It felt like I could
super like respectful too, and like not that the other wasn't. It just like
no. I'm just saying. I think it can sound like a con to be like, oh, we like weren't best friends with this option yet. But I'm like, in my mind, as I was so worried about boundaries getting crossed using a known donor, that felt like a pro to me.
Yeah. The other like kind of pro to this donor is like literally just like the nicest person you could imagine meeting is the energy we both get from him. It's just like,
I immediately feel like, we both went like this.
He feels like an angel.
He feels like he's like hugging my heart.
100%.
When I like hear his voice, I feel like at peace and calm. And I'm like,
you're angel boy.
Yeah. And I'm like, and that's exactly the type of person you want for this experience where it's going to be emotional. It's going to be heavy. It could be really trying. This could take a long time. And I also felt like he was extremely patient and understanding. Anytime we had to apologize for a delay or a decision or anything we were doing or requiring him to do stuff. And this was a long process. We spent a lot of money up front doing the tests for both the people. And this option also had done a lot of tests already, but we had to get new ones done. And like, we were asking a lot.
Right.
And they haven't gotten any money yet at all. So I'm like, I just felt like supported by this person.
Yeah. So we basically like it, and if I guess I'll pause and just say, if you're feeling like, why are they thinking so much about like who this person is? Because I think I would have that question too. Like, why does it matter? They're just like sperm to you, whatever. We are doing a known donor situation where like our ideal world for this person is that they act like an uncle-y figure.
Yeah.
Not like family uncle, but like friend uncle. You know that feeling?
We don't want to spring it on our kid when they're aware enough to start asking questions. Everything we're doing is to give our kid the best option for whatever they decide.
Right.
And we want this person around, so we're not having to spring it on our kid when let's say they're 7 and they're like, hey, Joey at school says that 2 mommies can't make a baby. How this happened? We can explain and be like, Uncle so-and-so, like, he gives a little ingredient to help make you.
Yep.
And then they can go, oh yeah, I know. And then it's kind of like a non-event. And it's like, yeah, I've met him a couple times. Like, I know who you're talking about.
Yep.
Instead of being like, are you ready to meet your biological donor, whatever the heck to call them?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I want it to be really easy for a kid, and I want them to be aware from a young age. And I think making it a less event will be easier to do that.
Totally. So yeah.
So we're going to be around this person.
Yeah. So we end up having 2 people with different pros and not even different cons, just like different things to consider.
There were really 0 cons. And that was the problem. If there was a con to either of them, like an actual proper con, it would have been easier.
Right.
We were like, I'm not complaining. We had 2 amazing options. When starting this process, looking at sperm banks, I was like, we're never going to find an option.
Totally.
Not one single option that is us compromising.
Yeah. So how did we decide then?
Do you want to talk about the guides?
Yeah.
I think it's important to share our perspective.
So we've talked on Staying Up before about like the guides is what the guide is.
I know it's like hard to explain. Like
the shortest way to explain it is that my family, like my mom, my aunts, like my uncle, whatever, have sought advice from the guides, and the guides are basically throughout my whole life. Sorry. The guides are basically it's woo woo. I will say it's very woo woo. It is.
I really like that you explain it as like your board of directors. Basically,
it's so hard to explain.
You know what? I'm just going to explain it instead of, I feel like we tiptoe around it. We're like, it's woo woo, it's this. I'm just going to share what I feel because I think it explains it well. I truly feel that we are souls and we exist in many lives, and I think that energy is always happening and it comes in different life forms. And there are souls that you kind of travel as a unit with through these different lifetimes. And
like that feeling of like, I know you. I know I've done something with you before.
Yeah. And sometimes not all of those souls are present in the moment on the earth. They're like not being called to be down here right now, but they are still connected to you, and they are able to know like what your soul is at a whole and what it needs during this lifetime.
Yeah.
So there's this woman, Donna. A lot of the peepees have gone to her now in hearing this, so we'll share her information. She's incredible. She's so sweet. She trained in doing this from somebody else
that my parents used to see. She was like the understudy, basically.
Yeah. And then now she is able to connect to your guides, and we've sought out advice, and it is a piece of advice, just like I'm not taking fully on what our friend or our parent or whoever says. This is a part of it that I'm taking on. So we asked them, we did an emergency 15-minute call. You normally do like 30 minutes or an hour.
When we were in Cancun.
Yeah, we were in Cancun and we popped on a call. And to me, it was very much so like, if you don't know what choice you want to do, flip a coin, and whatever in the air, where does your heart go? Are you going, please land tails, please land heads? It was that experience for me. Everything they said, it was like everything that I didn't even realize I was already feeling. I felt like they pulled out, like maybe they don't know what's best. Maybe they only know what I truly feel, and they're able to like go deep in my soul. I don't know. But everything that I was like, this is what I think, they did. They brought out in me, and it was really special.
I think one thing to add is like, it would be very easy to put the guides in like a bucket, like they're like the psychics, but they're not like telling you what's to come, and they're not like making these like massive statements. It's more like, it is almost like Donna is doing a meditation on your behalf. And if you think about it deeper, she is connecting to the people who love you most in the world, which are your guides and people who've been with you through lives and whatever.
Have a little more intel than maybe we'll be able to.
Yeah. So it's not like tarot reading, or like, it doesn't feel random. It feels like insanely spot on. And the reason that we trust them is throughout my parents' lives and my life and different things we've gone through, you go to the guides and you ask a couple questions, and their feedback is like bizarrely specific and like just like on big things, but it's never like be so scared or da da da. It's like such a calming, confirming experience, but they do guide you. Like they'll tell my mom, they told my mom to get a surgery, but not a different surgery. They can tell you which doctor to choose on certain things. You can ask them why you're feeling anxious lately, and they can talk about different things that might be impacting you and what foods personally for you impact you. Like they're very just like in tune.
That's
and it's like just calming.
I like that you said it's not like predicting the future.
No.
It's really like I have more insight on you as like a whole.
Yeah.
And as all the other factors in this decision, everyone else's soul, and can kind of say what makes the most sense here and like what would gel with you. Like I use this example a lot because I think it's very easy, but I asked them, I needed a lawyer and I had an option that I liked but wasn't sure, and basically was told like they'll be great, they'll get the job done, but it's going to be really frustrating for you because they're not very responsive. And I was already having issues with them being responsive, and I was worried that would continue, and I was making excuses.
And like she didn't say that when you were on the call. You weren't like, they're not responsive to me or anything.
No, I didn't say that at all. I was just like, hey, I have an option. Is this the right option or should I keep looking? And it was basically like, yeah, no worries. You could totally go with this person, but there's somebody better out there that I think you'll know when you find them.
Yeah.
And this person can get the job done, but it's going to add a lot of frustration and anxiety to you, because it was over a holiday that I was like, oh, maybe they're not responsive from the holiday. And then I went and I found someone else, and I instantly knew it was her when I talked to her. We had this weird connection. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Easy. Done.
And last year we asked them about, we want to get started on baby. Like, what does timing look like for us? And they were like, slow down. Like they very emphatically were like, and they don't always do that. Sometimes they're like, now's the time, it's perfect. But we're like
whenever
they're
you
like,
want.
slow down, focus on your relationship. You just got married, like enjoy it, blah, blah, blah.
Focus on each other. And then we took their advice and we did try to slow down a little bit, but it just so happens that they told us the end of this year is when everything would like make sense,
do it. And that is what the timeline naturally has become. And it's like,
and even having them say that, even if we didn't take the advice on board, it's like it helped us not be frustrated with things taking long.
Yes.
Because it's like, well, I don't want to.
Totally.
I've already decided we're not going to until the end of the year because I'm taking that advice.
So we go to the guides on our emergency call and we basically say, we have two options. One guy, here's his name. Another guy, here's his name. What do you say? What do you think? We didn't say anything about our pros and cons. And they basically were like,
I don't know if I want to share exactly what they said out of respect for the donors.
Totally. Okay. I'm not going to. I'm just saying the donor that we chose was the one that they felt lighter about. Like light is like their version of like it matches, it gels, it's good for you, like that.
Yeah.
And there was nothing negative about the other donor, but it was like for who we are and what we need and some health concerns.
It was clear they were leaning
towards this one.
Yeah.
And we all obviously like privately asked a bunch more questions and like got more information and whatever. And so we got off the call and we were like, okay, that was crazy. That feels really.
Yeah, it was a crazy call. And maybe on a Patreon episode we'll like dive in, because there's a lot of other stuff that I really I'm sure I'll talk about it on here eventually too, but
we were like shaking. It was like a crazy
I felt
call.
really crazy.
So we got off the call and we were like, okay, whoa. And at the end of the call we were like, okay, well, we're waiting for their genetic tests, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We get off the call, I open my phone and their genetic tests are ready, and it's been a 2-month process. Like it's not like,
and we didn't think we were getting it till the next week either. Yeah.
So
that was crazy.
Neither of them have any issues again. And we're like, that's insane. So what do? We send all the information to our fertility doctor, and then the next day our fertility doctor calls us and is like, I think you should go with this option. And it was the option that the guides had said, the option that we were starting to feel a little bit better about. And we were like, sweet. Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah, because up until then it was like any input we had, even from doctors at first, it was like, either's option's great. And then finally the fertility doctor was like, yeah, I think I have a slight inclination to go towards this one. That's what I would do if I were you. Like, he's not very pushy of like, you have to do this, but it was like, I'd pick this one if it was up to me.
So we got off the phone and we like looked at each other and we were like, what do you think? Like this has been a really fun process with you because like it's just we're making such a big decision together that like we know nothing about. And so it's like
that's so crazy.
It's just fun to get input from different things, and there's this pro and this kind of con and whatever. What do we want? And we decided on our guy, and we are so happy. And
the second we text him and said we had chosen him, his response, like he is I keep joking that like lovely. When this process is over, he's just gonna like disappear because he's an angel and like doesn't actually exist. And our kid, they're gonna like do a DNA test because of some health thing, and then they're gonna be like, wait, it only has both of your DNA.
I know, he's literally an angel.
He's so sweet. And then
I'm gonna read what we said.
Go ahead.
I said, so ... We finally just talked to our doctor and he questioned it. And then I said, and he confirmed what we had been feeling. If you're up for it, we would like to move forward. And he said, oh my God, in all caps. Oh my God, yes. And I said, oh my God, in all caps. He said, let's move forward. I'm shaking. My palms are literally sweating. I'm so excited to be a part of helping you create your family. And then we sent him a voice memo of like freaking out and just being like, thank you so much for being so up for this with us, blah, blah, blah. He sent us a voice memo back and it was 33 seconds long.
Which if you guys know, 33 is like our number. We got married at 3:33 on the dot. Our anniversary is 3/3. Well, we technically got married 3/4, but we signed our thing 3/3. Like, and it was the 3rd of June when we decided. Like, it was just so crazy.
It was so crazy.
That like, and the thing is, because we had two great options, we knew it was never gonna be 100% it has to be this person, like this health thing. It was never gonna be we can't go this route. Either option would have been great. So we really had to lean into those little signs. The little hunch we felt in the back of our head, the guides telling us, the 33, like it might sound really weird to some of you guys, like the little things that helped me feel at peace for it, and then you feel at peace. But I knew it was going to be those little intuition moments once we got down to these two, because they both are so great, and there would have been no wrong answer. But once we picked, it was like, it felt so good and so right. I'm really excited.
What I will say too is like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're okay.
What I will say is that my gut changed multiple times throughout this process.
That's what was hard.
Which was very confusing for me. Like, I normally feel very plugged into my gut, and I felt it change, and it was just a weird experience. I really had a hard time trusting my gut, or I really trusted it and then it would change, and I'd be like, that was so weird. But once we got more information, and as like more information came in, my gut felt clearer. And then I felt like when we made the decision, or when we were about to make it, I started like changing the way I was thinking, and I felt like, some things that I thought were my gut weren't my gut.
It was a good lesson in like trusting intuition and understanding.
So we messaged the other guy and had to tell him that we were moving forward. Sucked. And that really sucked, because the guy that we, said no to was the one that
we've become friends with.
We've become closer friends with by the time. But it was so crazy because, so he was sweet and all the things. I'm sure a little hurt, I would imagine.
It's an emotional process.
A long process, emotional process. But then the donor that we did choose, all of a sudden is like coming out of his shell in a way that it was like, I think he was just maybe nervous or.
Well, I really relate to him more in that, where I wouldn't be so connected yet. Like, sure, I'd share my personality a bit, but I just wouldn't. I would have my guard up a little. I wouldn't get that close to people until we were moving on to the next step. So I think that's why I felt really connected, because that's how I would have handled it. But then, as soon as we picked, it's like we're chatting more, we're connecting more immediately. Like, it's just, it's funny how that worked out. So I think people are wondering like, okay, what's next? Where does this go? So egg retrieval's next, and we don't have a ton to share on that yet because we haven't started that process. So we'll definitely take you guys along for the journey. But yeah, I think leading up until that, it should be happening in the next like month or two. We're just hyper focused on our health now. Like it's like crunch time, get our bodies as prepped as possible.
Body right.
Get that egg count up.
Egg count up. Body right.
And then, as always, thank you to the NewCo. They've been so supportive of this journey.
Yes.
And I am still on my probiotic game. Taryn's on hers.
Same.
We're crushing it. I know a lot of you couldn't find the discount code. I got some DMs. It's Cami20 20% off at the NewCo. I'll also put it in the show notes. I said I would do that and leave it on, but I think I forgot to the last couple episodes. So, they've just been so helpful with health. And then they actually just sent me like a bloat vitamin now, which apparently you really need during egg retrieval. I've heard it makes you like, the process makes you so bloated and uncomfortable. I'm not really looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
But at least we're stocked up on those. So I will, once we get through that, I'll share somewhere on Instagram or on here a little list of all of the vitamins.
Yeah.
The prenatals, the pre and probiotic from the NewCo, the bloating from the NewCo, like whatever vitamins we're taking, we'll share like a tears list and GAMS list kind of thing.
Perfect.
So that you guys can have the info. Not saying to take everything that we're taking, but just so you know what we did.
Just so you know where we're at.
Yeah.
Sweet. Also on next steps is he's obviously going to do his donation. But before that, he does a test to see if he has any like infectious diseases or something.
Oh my God. Yeah. We didn't even get into all this.
I know. Then we do a,
we have to do a psych evaluation. We do a therapy together. Then he has to do a therapy. I think we all do a therapy together.
Of us do therapy
we have to have
together.
lawyers. Like we sign contracts to make sure that we are all on the same page with the boundaries and that we are the parents and that he's the donor. And and the Seed Scout has helped us with all this. Like as soon as we pick, they sent us a whole doc of like, these are your next steps. Like here's the lawyer we recommend and their prices. If you want to use somebody else, totally okay. But like, here's who we've vetted. Here's the psychologist that we've vetted. So they kind of like do all of that work for you and then give you the tools to go do it yourself, which is really, really helpful. Because I would have no idea where to start with that.
Zero. So thank you, Skeet Scout. Skeet Scout is their new name. Thank you, Skeet Scout. Thank you, Seed Scout. Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna rapid fire some of the questions that we didn't get to during this. Thank you for all your questions. They helped us figure out how we wanted to talk about this today.
Yeah.
Is the donor cute?
So cute.
He's
oh my God.
Hottie.
Oh my God, he's so beautiful.
He's gorgeous.
Like he's gorgeous inside and out, and like so great.
Yeah. Yes, he's really cute.
Yeah. How did we celebrate? We had a little dinner last night. I sent Tara an invite to a date night on a Canva template.
So cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to like a sushi place that we love called Santo, and it was so yummy, and we just chatted and celebrated and we're cute. Are there any other children from this donor? There are not. We are paying the more expensive route so that he can't donate to other sperm banks, obviously, because Seed Scout doesn't let you do that, but to even other people on Seed Scout.
On Seed Scout, they have a 3-family limit regardless, and then you're not allowed to donate anywhere else unless like a good friend asked you to donate. So there's not a possibility for him to donate anywhere else because we eliminated the 3-family option.
Yep.
And he is just like an exclusive donor for us, which was much more expensive.
Yeah.
But this was not a cheap route, I will say. I know people ask for costs, and I don't even know how to begin to break down because I feel like we spent so much already.
Maybe when we're at the end, we can do a whole thing.
We'll do a full breakdown.
Maybe when we're fucking bankrupt,
I don't even want to see. I don't want to.
I don't want to know.
It's not that I don't want to tell you guys. I just don't want to have to look at it.
Also, this person that asked us that question about the other children said, we have an unknown donor, but know 9 of our baby's donor siblings, and it's literally the best little connection safe space for us.
That's really sweet.
That's cool. I'm jealous that you will have that experience.
If you use the Seed Scout and you don't go for the exclusivity, you also agree to be known by the other families, which I thought was really cool. We just, for privacy reasons, since we were going to be sharing the Seed Scout so much, wanted to go fully exclusive.
Yep.
But that did sound really special to be able to like reach out to the other parents.
2 questions left. How did you approach the conversation with each of your dudes that you were tossing up between? Our game was like, let's be transparent, but not annoying and not too transparent. So we were very like, there are two people in this process for multiple reasons. Number one being health.
Yes.
And we are paying for both of your tests and kind of doing the longer version of this.
Yeah.
If you're up for staying in this with us, we would appreciate it while we figure this out. We know it's not fun probably for you to have to be in consideration for something so important.
Yeah.
But if you're in, we would really appreciate it. And
we wanted them to have free will in it all too. Like it's them making a decision. And at any point, if they wanted to back out, if they decided it was too much or they weren't vibing with us, we wanted them to feel comfortable doing so.
Totally.
Yeah.
Last cue, babe. What are you feeling most right now? And what are you looking forward to?
I'm feeling so excited.
Me too.
And so at peace.
Same.
And a little scared because the next steps are a little more invasive.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous about that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the egg retrieval being done.
Me too.
I'm more scared of egg retrieval than being pregnant. I don't know why. I'm like stoked to be pregnant.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I don't think it's like the most comfortable process.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, honey. I feel so good about it. It's like the most, like, I feel excited and calm.
Yeah, me too.
And thank you guys for all of your support throughout the journey. We are so excited.
I can't wait to meet our little son.
I know. I can't wait to meet our donor.
Oh, yeah.
Like we
were texting
Zoomed
him
with
about
him.
like meeting him. And I was like, oh my God, we're literally going to get to meet you.
Thank you for another episode of Staying Up.
We love you guys.
We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for caring about this journey at all. It's been
so
really
exciting.
fun to share with you guys. We love you and we'll see you next week.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.